Hello everyone, Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. I had another day off yesterday. I had a visit from my granddaughter yesterday. I'll tell you about that shortly. But today I am just sitting, relaxing. I do have bingo tonight, so I'll only be doing whatever I do up until I leave the house about 10 to 7 tonight to pick my friend up. And I've got things coming on my screen on my laptop. I'm going to have to take it off. It won't, you don't see it on there, but it's telling me things. It's support assist for my computer. I don't need you. Get off. I think it's gone now. No, there it is, finished. It's one of those things that goes through your computer and puts things right, I think it is. Flashes up on the screen at the most inopportune moments, like when I'm making this video. So anyway, I am in the middle of knitting. This is one of Rhiannon's little cardigans, a 22-inch. I have done the back and one of the fronts done. Managed to do the front of this yesterday after my granddaughter went home. And then I'm starting, that's the left front, I'm on with the right front now, so I have to reverse the pattern, reverse where I put the stitches for the pattern, so I'm going to have to write that down because I'm not doing the usual kind of reversal. I have normally where I would say I started off with say knit 2, do all the pattern and end with knit 2. I haven't done that because I want the rosewood pattern to come down near the edge of the front, so I have different stitches at the side and different stitches at the front. So I have to work that out anyway, so I'm not up to that part yet, so I'm just still busy doing the rib. But I did finish the little blue cardigan, so I did get this finished. I was busy sewing it up yesterday when my granddaughter came with the 3 boys. I had some other kids in the house as well, so I had to put that to one side. I did finish it off when she left, but it was too late for the post office, so I'll be walking along to the post office sometime today to post that off to Karen. That's that one done. That'll not be long for the 22-inch for Rhiannon, but I do have a 24-inch to do for her as well. And I got a little bit of my blanket done. Well, it's not mine, it's Daggery's blanket. And I am back on using my 2 pairs of the 2 pairs of 8mm, you know, knitting them like knitting needles, because I do prefer knitting that way, like as though I'm knitting with 2 needles actually instead of the whole circulating. I can get on much better with the Chiku ones, but that's what I've been doing anyway. It's coming on quite well, as I think I'm about just past the halfway mark, so shouldn't take much longer for that. But I do have another one. This is the one that's for Daggery in the United States. I do have another one for Daggery to do, cardigan, so I'll have to get on with that before I can send them off. I'll put that back in the bag out the way. I'll not be doing any of that until probably tomorrow now, seeing as I'm going out tonight. But I had a visit from my granddaughter yesterday. There. I have this pad. I haven't got the heat switched on it, but I like it on my knee when I'm doing it. Keeps things, I can just put things on it. I'll be sorry when I don't need the heat off it anymore. Probably still use it for, take the plug thing out of it, you know, and just use it as a pad on my knee. It's not for keeping me warm, it's handy for just when I put things on my knee. When I put things like this, like the book thing, it doesn't sort of, you know, it's not resting on my knee, just resting on the pad. It's handy that. I have got one of those tray things, you know, with the polyuse stuff or whatever they're calling it, you know, the foam stuff that rests on your knee. I should maybe get that out actually. But anyway, I had my granddaughter came just before lunch yesterday with the three boys, and had quite a canny day. Had their lunch, had a walk up the park, and there's a little park up the top of my estate, but little Eddie, the youngest, the 4-year-old, what a mood he was in all day. They have a lot of toys at my house, which only come out when they come to my house. It just don't get played with very often. So when they do come, Eddie wants to play with every single thing and won't be tight if somebody else is playing with it. We've got this thing, it's like a helter-skelter thing like this for cars. You put the cars in the top and they go round and round and round and all the way down. And it can be, there's buttons on the side and you press the buttons and it goes down flat and makes like a racetrack type of thing. And well, when Cheryl first came with the boys, apparently they've got a cousin on my estate. And Frankie, the oldest boy, he's 11. He went to call on his cousin, the little girl she is, same age as him, 11-year-old. And he came back down to my house with her friend as well. So I ended up with 5 kids in my house. And they were playing quite happy at first, but Eddie brought some little cars, I think about 4 or 5 little cars with him. You didn't need to bring them. There's boxes and boxes of cars and things in my house. But he brought them with him and they were using these cars to go down this helter-skelter thing. And all I could hear, we were sitting in the other room in the kitchen, me and the mum, Cheryl. You could hear it was mine, mine, mine. The fighting was going on all the time and fighting over everything. We had a big box of Lego bricks. I've got 2 big boxes of Lego bricks, belong to my kids. And then when the grandkids came along, they played with them, and now the great-grandkids play with them. So brought them down for them, and Eddie was in a mood all day. He started off with the lunch. I done some just burgers and chips and that for the kids, and I only had enough for them, so I decided I would just have an egg with my chips. So I've done all the burgers for the kids and I'm doing an egg for myself to put on my chips. And when I put it on my plate, Eddie started moaning. He said, I want an egg. And I said, all right, I'll do you one. When I turned around, he was taking my egg off my plate and putting it on his plate. And so it didn't matter anyway. I done a one for myself. We had lunch and then they were playing, and they were getting a bit boisterous and all that. So I says to Cheryl, we'll have a walk up. There's a little park up the top of my estate. We'll go around the back. There's back tracks around the back of the house, and we'll walk up the back tracks to the park. They can run a bit of their energy off in the park. So Eddie started again. He was moaning and groaning and whinging at this and whinging at that. And the only problem is the oldest boy, Frankie, tends to wind him up. And he kept winding him up. Even when we came home, it was really cold. And the wind, it was windy and it was freezing. And I think it was the cold as well with Eddie. So we came back home. I put the heating on in the house. I don't usually have it on during the day, but I did to warm everybody up. So I had 5 kids playing in the living room. And Eddie just whinging on everything. Everybody touched he wanted. And I just said to Cheryl, we just went in the kitchen where he took cups of tea. I said, just let them get on with it, Cheryl. as we were sitting talking in the kitchen having cups of tea, give the kids what they wanted, ice lollies and drinks and what have you. And we was just sitting talking in the thing, and I've always gotten on very well with my granddaughter. We always have a good chat. We get on like a house on fire, actually. And we were just sitting talking about this, that and the other, and she was talking about going shopping with her partner. She doesn't like shopping with her partner, Craig. She says he's very loud, he doesn't care what he sees. And so walking around some big shop, and she says, he look at them all, she says, he says, they're walking around, they're following each other like sheep. And Cheryl was saying, shut up, she says, it's a big shop. That's the way you walk around. You go up one aisle, down the other and that. And she was talking, and I said to her, oh, I says, that's nothing, Cheryl. I says, you should have been, pity you could never been shopping with me and your granda. Was this when we were young? So I was telling her about when we were quite young. Before everybody started using cards in the shops, used to pay, most people used to pay cash. Because in our young day, when my husband's wages were in a wage packet, he was paid, cash. It was years later when everybody started getting the money paid into the bank and that. But I said to Cheryl, I said, I used to hate your granda coming shopping with me. See, there was one time we were in the shop in a queue, waiting to go through the checkout. And woe betide if there's anyone in front of us who had a card. Well, this day there was someone in front, and my husband standing there saying, I'm saying to Cheryl, I said, your granda, this is your granda. They should have a separate queue for people who don't have cash. He says, people getting their stuff on tick. And I said to him, they're not getting it on tick. I says, they're using their money in the bank. Their wages are paid into the bank. He says, but they've still got a card. They should have a separate checkout for them. People were looking at us and all that. And I said to Cheryl, of course, I says, you'll not know about things like that, because I says, your money's always been paid into the bank there. That's the way it is. But I says, my husband was paid in cash in a wage packet every week. I says he never liked it when it was actually, they did change to putting money into the bank. He never liked that. He looked at that as something strange. But when his firm decided to start paying everybody in the bank, my husband never had a bank account, so it had to go into I was the one with the bank account. Because when we used to get paid cash, you used to put whatever money was saving, I used to put it into the bank, and then we sorted out what we had to pay out in cash and food and all the rest of it. But anyway, when it was paid into the bank, he didn't have a bank account, so we had to give my details for my bank account, so it was paid into my bank account. So everything we ever owned all our life was in my name. I even changed the current account, my current account, to a joint account, so that he'd have his card as well. And of course the bank sent us 2 cards, one for me and one for him. He sent his back to the bank and he said, I never asked for a card. I don't want a card. Why did you send this to me? He sent the card back to the bank. But every time, your card had to be renewed, they sent one for me and one for him, and he just used to cut his up and throw it away. Nice to say, I says, maybe I might have lost my card sometime. I says, we could have used your card and you've cut it up and thrown it away. I don't want a card, and that was the way it used to be. I was telling Cheryl, she couldn't believe it. She was laughing her head off, I says, well, that's the way things were. And I says, in them days, but things change, and then go back to the kids because they were fighting. And anyway, they went home about 4:45, I think it was, because the oldest boy, Frankie, he has weightlifting, something like that. He does weightlifting and that, and she had to get her home for that. So I think I was just shattered. I just sat down on the Saturday. I finished throwing off that little cardigan, and then I just started knitting, and you know, I don't normally go to bed. It's very rare I go to bed before 1 o'clock in the morning. I just sit up and knit, and I have no trouble. I can sit and knit right up until 1 o'clock in the morning. But last night, by 10:30, I couldn't keep my eyes open. Must have been all the running around after those kids and everything. Anyway, I was in bed a bit earlier last night, and I didn't wake up till 8 o'clock this morning. I couldn't believe that and all. I'm usually awake about 6 o'clock or something, needing to go to the loo, but it was 8 o'clock this morning. So I'm all back to normal today, thank goodness. No kids. It's a good job it's only now and again. A little Eddie might be a bit better mood next time I see him. Well, he was happy when I got the ice lollies out the freezer, mine, because I have a box. I get a box and they have 3 different flavours. There's pineapple, strawberry and blackberry, I think, something like that. And won't be tired if Eddie doesn't get the pineapple one. But he did. We made sure he got a pineapple one. That kept him happy for a change. So that's just a little bit for today. So thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you all later. So bye for now.